Part 1, The Thief and the Blade. 1. A desert world's cruel law. The twin sons of Hesper, 7 scorched the cracked earth of Drywell Outpost, a lawless colony where water meant power. Gyra, a 16-year-old alien girl with violet skin and silver scars from sandstorms, crouched behind a rusted market stall. Her father, Kes, lay dying in their shack, his fever spiking after days without water. The penalty for stealing? Losing a hand. But Gyra had no choice. 2. The fateful decision. Her fingers closed around a metal flask at the merchant's stall. Just one. Enough to keep Kes alive. She tucked it into her ragged cloak. Got you. A massive hand clamped her wrist. Torghast, the enforcer, loomed over her, his crimson eyes gleaming. The crowd backed away as he drew a curved blade. Thieves pay in blood, he growled. 3. The human intervenes. As Torghast forced Gyra onto a chopping block, a voice cut through the silence. Stop. A human in a dust-stained military vest stepped forward. Captain Dax Vero, his face hidden under a hood, tossed a credit chip at the merchant. I'll pay double. Let her go. Torghast hesitated. Humans were rare here, and dangerous. 4. An unlikely alliance. Dax didn't wait for permission. He yanked Gyra to her feet, pressing the water flask into her hands. Run, he muttered. But Torghast wasn't done. You'll regret this, off-worlder. Gyra stared at Dax. Why risk his life for a stranger? Before she could ask, shouts erupted. Galactic Union troopers stormed the market, scanning the crowd. Dax's face paled. He wasn't just a traveler. He was a fugitive. 5. A dangerous shelter. Gyra grabbed his arm. Come with me if you want to live. She led him through back alleys to her family's crumbling hut. Inside, Kes coughed weakly. Dax eyed the dying man, then his pursuers outside. I just made your life a lot harder, he said. Gyra handed her father the water. No. You gave me a reason to fight back. Part 3, The Wells of Treason. 1. Blood in the Sand. Gyra followed the boot prints leading into the scar dunes, where the air shimmered with toxic heat. Her father's ion cutter hummed in her grip, its blade dull but deadly. The tracks vanished near a collapsed drill site, one of the old water mines. A muffled scream echoed from below. Dax. 2. The Poisoned Truth. Gyra slithered down a rusted pipe into the cavern. The stench hit first, rotting flesh and chemical sweat. Union troopers stood guard over a pit where prisoners scooped sludge into barrels. Not water. Poison. Dax knelt before Lieutenant Vex, his face bloodied. Last chance, Captain, Vex hissed. Give us the crystal, and you die quick. Dax spat red. Burn in the void. 3. A distraction ignites. Gyra acted fast. She kicked a loose pipe, the clang sent troopers scrambling. In the chaos, she leapt onto Vex's back, driving the ion cutter toward his neck. Click. Celto's pistol pressed to her temple. I warned you, he whispered. 4. The Rebel's Gambit. Dax moved like lightning. He grabbed Vex's sidearm and fired. Celto dropped. Go. Dax shoved Gyra toward the prisoners. Free them. She sliced their bonds as Dax held off the troopers, his stolen pistol glowing white-hot. A bullet grazed his thigh. He didn't flinch. 5. The Escape. The freed prisoners surged up the pipes. Gyra hauled Dax onto her shoulders as the cavern trembled. The Union detonated the mine behind them. Outside, the dunes burned. Dax grinned through broken teeth. Now they're pissed. Gyra stared at the data crystal in his fist. What's really on that thing? Dax's smile faded. Proof the Union murdered 20,000 colonists, to test their poison. Part 2, The Fugitive's Secret. 1. Shadows of the Past. The hut's door shuddered as Union troopers kicked dust outside. Gyra barred it with a rusted pipe while Dax crouched beside Kess, his gloved hands checking the old man's pulse. "He needs meds, not just water," Dax muttered. Gyra's claws unsheathed in frustration. "The med center turns us away. No credits, no help." Dax unclipped a small vial from his belt. "Here. Terran antibiotics." Gyra froze. Medicine was rarer than water. 2. A bargain with death. Before she could ask why he'd share such treasure, a fist hammered the door. "Open up. Union orders." Dax's hand flew to his holstered pulse pistol. Gyra stopped him with a glare. "Shooting them brings more." She cracked the door just enough to see Lieutenant Vex, a cyborg enforcer, his red optic scanning the gloom. "Harboring fugitives carries a death sentence, Vesperin," Vex droned. Gyra forced a laugh. "You think a water thief cares about laws?" 3. The truth unfolds. When the troopers left, Dax exhaled sharply. "They're not just after me. They want this." He pulled a data crystal from his vest, its blue glow painting his scarred face. "Proof the Union poisoned Hesper 7's wells to control the colonies." Gyra's stomach twisted. "The droughts. The deaths. All planned." Kess coughed blood. "Then, you're not just running. You're fighting." 4. Torgas's trap. At dawn, Gyra slipped out to scavenge supplies. The market buzzed with news. Torgas had doubled the bounty on Dax's head. A familiar voice hissed from an alley. "Gyra." It was Celto, her childhood friend, now a bounty hunter. He tossed her a water pouch. "Turn him in. Take the credits. Save your father properly." Her grip tightened on the pouch. Betrayal or survival? 5. The choice. Back at the hut, Dax was gone, only a note remained. "Stay safe. They'll kill you for helping me." Gyra crushed the paper. He didn't understand. "On Hesper 7, you fought for family, or you died alone." She grabbed her father's old ion cutter, a tool for mining, now a weapon, and ran into the dunes. Somewhere in the wastes, Dax Vero was walking to his death. And Gyra owed him more than water. Part 4, The Warlord's Mercy. 1. A bargain with the devil. The acid winds of Hesper 7 howled as Gyra and Dax staggered into Fort Pyre, a fortress carved from the skull of a dead sandworm. Commander Zovis, the warlord who ruled the wastes, lounged on a throne of fused Union armor. His 4 arms flexed as he eyed Dax's limp. "Captain Vero," Zovis purred. "The Union offers 50,000 credits for you. Why shouldn't I collect?" Gyra stepped forward. "Because he's the only one who can prove the Union poisoned your people." Zovis's laugh rattled the bones hanging from the ceiling. 2. The Trial of Blades. The warlord tossed a serrated knife at Dax's feet. "Fight my champion. Win, and I'll listen. Lose," his grin showed filed teeth. Dax picked up the blade. His leg wound seeped blood. Gyra grabbed his arm. "You can't even stand." Dax's whisper was raw. "If I die, you run. Get the crystal to the free colonies." The champion entered, Kurga, a hulking hybrid with grafted exoskeleton plates. The crowd roared. 3. Blood on the sand. Kurga charged. Dax barely dodged, his knife scraping uselessly against Kurga's armored ribs. A backhand sent him crashing into the bone pile. Gyra's claws dug into her palms. "He's going to die for nothing." Then, Dax's fingers closed around a broken femur. As Kurga lunged, he jammed the bone into the armor's exposed joint. Kurga screamed. Dax drove his knife through the creature's eye. Silence. 4. The warlord's price. Zovis clapped slowly. A trickster. I like that. He leaned forward. But my help costs more. I want the Union's orbital codes, locked in their desert outpost. Dax coughed blood. Suicide mission. Yes. Zovis tossed Gyra a pistol. You'll need this. 5. A fractured alliance. In the barracks, Gyra bandaged Dax's wounds. We're just trading one monster for another. Dax gripped her wrist. Zovis will burn this planet to ash if he gets those codes. We steal them first. Outside, the sandstorm wailed like a dying beast. Somewhere in it, the outpost waited. Gyra loaded the pistol. Then we lie to his face. Dax smirked. Now you're thinking like a rebel.